We're traveling back in time to when dinosaurs roamed the earth. This is Cartoon Academy. Stay tuned. We're going to draw the king of the dinosaurs, Tyrannosaurus Rex. Ready, set, let's draw. We're going to begin with the brow above the eyes. Come around and back in. There's a couple quick lines right here at the corner of the eye. Now for the eye itself, it's sort of a letter C on its side. Right next to that, the other brow, and the other eye. Next, the pupils, or the little dots in the eyes. 1 and 2. Now for the snout. Around and down. Out slightly to add a little bit of a lip. And then in, up, and around. For the corner of the mouth, add 1, 2 lines. We're going to add some bags under the eyes like this. 2 little lines right here. And then the nostril. Up, around, and fill that in. Now the lower jaw. Starting right where we have this little bump in the line in his mouth, we come down, out, square it off. It's a letter L shape. In, up, and around to form the jaw. Now for the teeth. You get as many or as few as you want. If you want it to be a friendlier dinosaur, you could make the teeth a little more rounded. But I want a rather ferocious dinosaur. It's just the letter V over and over. For the inside of the mouth, we're going to add just a hint of the tongue. A line down. And then we want to color in all of this. There we go. Good. Now for the top of the head. Starting about, halfway over on this first brow, we come up, down, and then we split that right there into a second line. Now for the front of the neck, down, and in slightly there with that line, and then we're going to add the arms right here. Short little arms.
So cute!
The letter V, out, and then 1, 2, letter C, in, and back. That's our first arm. Continue down, and then an imaginary line goes through that arm, continues down to about here. Now we're going to add the first leg. Round and out for a number 2 shape. Down, line out and down, line out and down, in, up, around. At the end of those toes, we add the toenails. 1, 2, 3. Let's connect this. There we go. Now we're going to bring up the tail, and then we'll add the other leg. Continuing through, again, imaginary line through, we come around and up to a point, and then follow it back in and connect. Next, the other leg. round. Number 2, down, in, down, in, down. Connect it to the other foot and in. Now we have the toenails. 1, 2, 3. The other hand is just sort of tucked right back here. We just see the one finger sticking out. Let's add a little bit of texture. Just a couple little bumps here and there. Maybe some wrinkles on the knees. And then let's add a little texture to the underbelly. We're going to add a line down to the arm, and then from the arm to the leg, just some lines across like this. Good. Now we're going to add a bit of setting. Setting is where or when a story takes place. We're going to add a couple different elements of setting. We're going to add foreground, which is everything in front of the character. Middle ground, which is everything right where the character is standing and interacting with. And background, everything behind the character. Let's start with a little bit of foreground. We're just going to add some tall grass here and there. There we go, that's in front. Now the middle ground. We have a little bit of land here. And I think I'm going to add a little plant right here. Come around. Sort of a bowl shape. And then we just add a zigzag. 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5. And then we're going to do that again. We're going to repeat it, but a little bit smaller. Around. Zigzag and in. Let's do that again. Around. Zigzag and in. And then we're going to add the leaves. There we go. Maybe just a little line right down the middle of those. Good. We're going to continue over with our middle ground. And let's work in maybe a palm tree. We come up, point, back in. Then we add just a little bit of the roots. And we continue through with our land right there. Next are the fronds of the palm. Those are the leaves. 1, 2, 3, oh, maybe 4. And again, just a line down the middle. We're going to add some texture to the tree itself. We want this to feel like bark, so we're just going to draw the letter W over and over. There we go. So we have our foreground, what's in front of the dinosaur, our middle ground, where the dinosaur is standing. Lastly, the background, or everything behind the dinosaur. We're going to add a volcano. Come up with a squiggly line, down, follow that back up, leaving a little bit of a gap, over. Again, this is going to be our path for the lava. So you want it to be a little bit scribbly, and over, and down. Our volcano is exploding. I think our dinosaur is a little bit worried. He's a nervous Rex. Continue over. Maybe there's some mountains here in the background. And there's our background. We're all done. Yay! Sign your name. Take pride in your work. Now we're going to draw 2 dinosaurs, an Apatosaurus and a pterodactyl. Stay tuned. We're going to start with our pterodactyl. It's going to be drawn in the upper right-hand corner. We're going to start with the eyes. First, an oval. Right next to that, we're going to put a letter C. A line across for the eyelids. And then the pupils, 1 and 2. Now for the beak. Starting from the base of this eye, we come out and up to a point, back in, and add a dash. Down, back in, and now we're going to follow that. We're going to come out, in and down, up, and then around to add the neck right there. We're going to go back up to the top of the head, starting right between the eyes, up, and back in with a curved line. Now for the cheeks. Down and out, and in. For the neck, curved line, and the second curved line. Now we're going to add the body. Come down, around, out and in, and then up. For the wings, up, and then we're going to add a talon or claw. 1, 2. Down, point, up, and then in and connect back to the body. We're going to add the membrane. That's a little skin that forms over the wings so they can fly. It's just a letter M. The other wing is sort of tucked right back behind it, right here. We come out, add that talon, and down. Now to add the legs and feet. That's a lesser than symbol. And then we repeat that. We do it one more time. Now the talons. Out, point, down, point. It looks like a letter W. And then add one more. Down, point, letter W, out, and in. Now we're going to shade in the mouth. We're going to add a little bit of the tongue there, right, like that. And then shade in everything else. Lastly, for our pterodactyl, we want to add the eyebrows. There we go. Now we're going to give them a friend. We're going to add an Apatosaurus. An Apatosaurus is a very long-necked dinosaur. So we have to think about our composition. Composition is where we place everything on the page. We have to be able to place this long neck, large body, and long tail. So we have to work out how we're going to place everything very carefully. Since it's a long neck, we're going to start up very high on our page. We're going to start with the eyes. An O shape or oval, and a letter C backward shape. Got a pupil here, and a pupil here. And now for the nose and snout. Down, round, and up, and stop. A little curved line for the cheek. 1, 2 lines right here, and then the nostrils. 1 and 2. Let's finish up the head. We're going to add the lower lip, and then jawline. Now the brow. The brow is the part above the eyes. And that's going to lead right into the neck. We're going to pause right there. So this gives us an idea of the scale of the dinosaurs. Scale is another word for size. And there are lots of ways to measure scale. You might measure the size of something using inches or meters or yards. In cartoons, we measure by the size of the head. That tells us how tall the character is. So, for example, our pterodactyl is 2 heads tall. 1, 2. Our other dinosaur here, the Apatosaurus, is going to be about 1, 2, 3, almost 4 heads tall. So that's how we measure the scale. It gives us an idea of the size and the characters in relation to one another. So let's add the neck. Down, and then curve up slightly. Let's follow that. We're going to come down, and this time we continue down just a little bit further. Now for the back. We arch up, down, and a little line right there. Next, we're going to add the legs. Letter V. Down, round and out, up and in, and add a little crease or fold right there. The other leg, we're going to actually see the bottom of it. It shows us a little bit of depth and perspective. Come down, and then we add a 0, and then follow that back up. Good. Now for the hind legs, or back legs. There's that letter V again. Down, over, and up. We don't quite connect it because we need to add the tail. The underbelly is a line across like so. Down, out, in. The toenails is the letter M. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now for the long tail. We come up, round, point, and then follow it back in. And it just connects right to the dinosaur like that. You know, I've often wondered how long dinosaurs live. It turns out it's about the same as short dinosaurs. This is a very long dinosaur. We then add a little bit of our ground surface, just some grass like this. And then because our dinosaur is so big, he casts a little bit of a shadow here. Just like so. That's it. They're your dinosaurs. Sign your name. Take pride in your work. If at first you don't succeed, try Triceratops. We're going to learn how to draw a Triceratops. Let's begin. We're going to start with the eye. We have an arch up, and then a line across. And then just 1, 2 quick little lines there. The bottom half of the eye is a letter U. Now for the pupil. That's just a period. The brow is just a little arch up like this. Now we're going to add the horns. There are 3. There's 1. Line down. 2. Line down. And now for the third one. Tri means 3. Triceratops. Up to a point and back down. Next, we're going to add the mouth. We're going to start with that front part of the lip. It looks sort of like a beak. Down to a point and up. And then we're going to continue that line through and add a little dash on the end. The nostrils, an upside down letter U, and another with just a little bit of color in there. Now for the back of the head. Out, down and in, out and in, out and in, and one more, out and in. We can continue that in just a little bit more, and then add some depth. A line here, 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 and here. I'm going to double that up. Another line right next to it. Now we're going to add some shading. Shading is exactly what it sounds like. It's the shadows. So we imagine where our light source is coming from. Our light is coming from somewhere up here, and the light would hit the front of the horns. But on the back of the horns, we would have our shadow. We're going to use a line shading. It's just some simple lines, like so. On our other horn, and lastly, right there. Now for the lower part of the mouth. Down to a point, back in, and down slightly. Let's draw the back. Starting from about, halfway up. Come out and up. And we're going to come down, around, and to a point and stop. Now we're going to add the tail. The tail is tapered. That means it starts out very, very small and narrow at the tip, and then gets wider and wider as we get closer to the body. So just follow that in, getting a little bit wider and wider until we get right here. Good. Now for the legs. We're going to start with the front legs. We had 2 lines with a little crease where the legs meet the body. Down. Out. In. Up. And over. Now for the hind legs or back legs. Down. Out. In, and it's hidden by the tail, so we just come up like this. Very good. Now for the other legs. Down, out, and in. And now we have our triceratops. Now we're going to add the tricerabottom. It's just a line across like this. Let's add another leg right in here. Toenails, very simple to draw. It's just the letter M. Letter M, letter M. I love dinosaurs. When I was little, I really wanted to get a dinosaur for my brother, but no one would trade me. Oh. We'd had some wrinkles in the knees. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next is the interior or inside of the mouth. We're going to have a tongue, a line down, and then shade in right behind that. The last thing to add to our triceratops are the markings. Markings are the various shapes and colors and patterns that appear on fur or scales or even feathers. I have a cat named Mittens, and Mittens is a tuxedo cat. And the reason he's called a tuxedo cat is because it looks like he's wearing a tuxedo because of his markings. He has a little white vest on the front and little white paws that look like gloves. And he even has a little white marking right here on half of his mustache. Well, those are called markings. Our markings for our dinosaur are stripes that come to a point and back up. Point, back up. Point, back up. Point, and back up. We could add a little bit of texture. Texture is how something feels when you touch it. I imagine our dinosaur feels a little bit lumpy and bumpy. So we're just going to add some little lines like this. Now for some ground surface. Just a little bit of grass. Just like so. I think we need to give a little baby dinosaur. Maybe this is a mama, and we have a little baby popping its head outside of the egg, like this. We're going to start with the letter U. And then we're going to add a zigzag across. Now for baby dinosaur. We're going to start with the horn. Up, down, over, up, down, and zigzag right into the egg. Now for the head and the horn. Down, up to a point, and then smiling. And down into the egg, and 2 eyes. 1, 2. A little bit more ground surface. And that's it. That's our Triceratops. Sign your name. Take pride in your work. Thanks for tuning in.